story of the Emperor's origins is now largely dismissed as myth and legend. Most historians agree that his early life and background of the Emperor remain shrouded in mystery. Very little concrete evidence exists about where he came from or what his life was like before he set out to unify Terra during the tumultuous period known as the Unification Wars. While many tales have circulated over the centuries, none can be verified as fact, and the true story is lost to time. What is certain is that his existence is marked by two enduring traits: his immortality as a perpetual and his exceptional psychic abilities. These qualities continue to define him, regardless of the obscurity surrounding his early years. The first clear record of the Emperor by name appears during the final phase of his campaign to bring the fractured planets of Terra together. This occurs after the chaotic period known as the Age of Strife, which ended in the late 29th millennium. It was during this time that his leadership became central to the formation of the Imperium. An interesting detail appears in a rare mention by Horace, a notable figure in Imperial history. Horace recounted that he first met the Emperor when he was living in Anatolia during his childhood. This small clue hints at a regional origin, but it raises more questions than answers. How much of this is true, and how much is part of a legend? From what records do exist, we know that the Emperor was born an immortal perpetual, a being capable of living forever, and that he was ancient before even his ascension to the throne over 10,000 years ago. The Emperor is often called the New Man, a title that signifies his role as the first of a new type of human. He represents a mutation, an advanced subspecies of human psychers, individuals with extraordinary mental powers. These powers include telepathy, telekinesis, and other psychic feats that surpass those of most humans. Some experts say that he embodies the collective reincarnation of ancient shamans, wizards, and wise men who once guided primitive humanity in its earliest days. Before recorded history, these figures held knowledge and power that allowed them to influence the world around them. The Emperor over time became a living conduit for all of that wisdom. As he matured, the full extent of his psychic strength began to show. His powers grew stronger as he aged, and his memories from countless past lives surfaced. Each new life added more to his vast treasury of knowledge and experience. It was as if he had climbed an endless ladder of reincarnation, gathering all the lessons learned before him. Over centuries, his mind became a vast library of history, magic, and understanding. These memories enriched his ability to lead and understand the broader forces shaping the galaxy. Many believe his psychic abilities are so powerful, they can influence entire worlds or sway the minds of hundreds of thousands of people at once. One of the most remarkable theories about the Emperor's origins claim that he once had a mortal brother and sister. According to some stories, he was born in the 8th millennium BC, during humanity's early Neolithic period. This was a time when humans still lived in small primitive villages and relied on simple tools and hunting. The tale suggests that he was born in a humble village along the banks of the Sakarya River in Anatolia, a region in what is now known as Turkey. These stories portray him as a child of simple origins, but with a destiny that stretched far beyond those early days. Whether these tales are true or not, they underscore the view of the Emperor as not just a hero, but as a figure born out of the very roots of human history. This broader story of the Emperor's origins serves to highlight his unique nature. He is not simply a ruler or a general, he is a product of ancient forces and hidden histories. His existence bridges the gap between humanity's humble beginnings and the advanced civilization he helped forge. His role as a being with near infinite memory and psychic power sets him apart from all others. The true history of where he came from may never fully be known. Yet his presence, power, and the legend that surrounds him continues to inspire awe and reverence across the galaxy. While he was still a young adolescent, a tragic event shattered his world. The Emperor's father was murdered, killed by his own uncle in a brutal act of treachery. The boy watched as his family funeral rites were carried out in primitive ways, with simple offerings and rituals that reflected their ancient traditions. During the grim task of preparing his father's body, he received a sudden, vivid vision, something beyond normal senses. He saw clearly the moment of his father's death, the violence inflicted by his uncle, and the aftermath of the murder. This vision was not a normal dream, but a clairvoyant glimpse, a psychic insight that revealed truth behind a brutal act. It was as if his mind had been transported directly into the scene, exposing the hidden motives and the secret darkness that drove the murder. Years later, this young boy, who would become the Emperor, approached his uncle with calm resolve. Without anger or hatred, he used his extraordinary mental powers, specifically his telekinetic abilities, to stop his uncle's heart. With just a gentle mental push, he ended the murderer's life, displaying formidable control over his powers. His face remained expressionless, revealing neither sorrow for the act nor malice towards his kin. It was a moment marked by icy clarity, a display of his ability to wield power without emotional distraction. This act was not one of revenge, but a profound statement of his understanding of justice and control. The Emperor himself has explained that this event marked the moment he realized what was needed for humanity to truly advance. He recognized that mankind's growth depended on establishing law, order, and wise leadership. Without rules and direction, chaos would always threaten progress. He understood that a strong guiding hand was necessary to steer humanity towards its potential. This insight became the foundation of his future mission, by bringing structure and stability. After his father's murder, at some point, the young boy left his humble village. He journeyed to what was called the first city of humanity, most likely one of the Sumerian city-states in ancient Mesopotamia. These city-states were among the earliest centers of human civilization, where writing, government, and trade first flourished. It was here that he began his quest to understand the complexities of human society and to shape its future. Before he rose to become the Emperor, he spent thousands of years quietly watching and guiding mankind. During this time, he assumed many different faces, appearing as famous historical figures, prophets, or rulers, and subtly influencing the course of history. His goal was clear: to help humans develop their potential and avoid the darker path that could lead to destruction. He knew that the darker facets of human nature, anger, greed, hatred, had a dark influence. These negative emotions, he believed, directly fed the chaos gods of the warp, powerful entities of chaos and destruction. These beings thrived on human suffering and chaos, threatening the stability of the universe. The Emperor's work was aimed at maintaining peace and harmony on old Earth. His guiding hand was meant to slow the growth of the ruinous powers, corrupting entities that thrived on disorder and suffering. He sought to prevent humanity from slipping into chaos, knowing their spiritual struggle affected the entire universe. He understood that the more chaos grew, the stronger the chaos gods became, threatening everything that humans held dear. Many do not realize that the man that would later become the Emperor was more than just a powerful leader. He was the most powerful psychic ever born amongst humans. His mental abilities far surpassed those of any other human before or after him. To achieve this, he was also a special kind of being known as a Perpetual, an ancient ancestor with a gift for near immortality. As a Perpetual, he possessed the ability to heal rapidly and regenerate cells far faster than normal humans. This biological gift made him effectively immortal, allowing him to survive centuries of hardships and watch the rise and fall of civilization. His true origins remain a mystery to many. Some believe he was born as a mutant, a rare human strain with extraordinary abilities. Others think his existence is shrouded in myth and legend. What is certain is that his powers and insights placed him far above others. Even before his rise to power, he was quietly gathering knowledge, understanding the patterns of history, and preparing to shape the future. His intellect, combined with his psychic gifts and regenerative abilities, made him a force unlike any other. He was a being who could see what others could not, study the future, and act with precision. In summary, the early life of the man destined to become the Emperor was filled with tragedy, insight, and silent purpose. His experiences inspired the core of his vision to guide humanity with wisdom, strength, and authority. He understood that the fate of mankind depended on leadership that understood both the power of the mind and the importance of moral clarity. Every step he took in those formative years built the foundation of a figure whose influence would span millennia, shaping the course of human history and the destiny of the universe itself. The origins of the Perpetuals and the nature of their remarkable abilities remains a mystery. It is unknown whether these powers appear naturally over time or were deliberately engineered by some mysterious outside faction. What is clear, however, is that the Emperor, a central figure in this history, was alive during a time long before the current age. He was present during the era of humanity's first attempt at spanning the stars, a period now referred to by imperial historians as the Age of Technology. During that time, the Emperor was known to mingle with other beings who shared his remarkable nature, the Perpetuals. These were individuals who seemingly possessed immortality or extended lifespans, often exhibiting extraordinary talents and knowledge. Among these was a woman named Olivia Sarica, a figure of significance in these early days, and appear among the other ancient beings. Their bonds stretched back generations, and their interactions shaped crucial events that would echo through history. Together, the Emperor and Sarica, along with several other Perpetuals, undertook a daring journey into the depths of space. Their destination was the night world of Moloch, a planet known for its formidable defenses and mysterious past. They travelled aboard a single one-way voidcraft, a ship designed for long journeys without the possibility of return, emphasizing the gravity of their mission. Their goal was to find the key to unlocking powers thought impossible, a way to shape the future of humanity. During their exploration, they uncovered a rare object, a warp gate, an ancient portal leading into the realms of chaos. This realm, also called the Immaterium, is a dimension of raw, unpredictable energy, home to the chaos gods and countless deadly entities. It was within this chaotic realm that the future Emperor made a fateful choice. Entering the warp through this gate, he sought power and knowledge beyond mortal reach. What followed was a clandestine bargain with the chaos gods, an agreement shrouded in secrecy and filled with risk. This bargain granted the Emperor new incredible powers, as well as knowledge that would come to define his destiny. It was in the depths of the warp that he learnt how to craft something unprecedented: the Primarchs. These were superhuman beings created by merging ancient arcane genetic science with the energies of the warp itself. The Primarchs would become the foundation of the new Imperium, mighty leaders and warriors, each with unique strengths, all designed to unify and protect humanity. During this crucial mission, the Emperor made a decision that would resonate for ages. He left Olivia Sarica behind to guard the Moloch Warp Gate, trusting her with the critical task of protecting the access point until humanity was ready to defend itself. His foresight indicated that in future days, this world would need safeguarding from the chaos and destruction that lurked beyond the gate. This act of trust and sacrifice demonstrated the Emperor's long-term vision. He knew that the road ahead was perilous, and that the power he gained could be dangerous if misused. In later times, the Chaos Gods would come to see the Emperor in a very different light. Despite their initial willingness to strike a deal with him, the Chaos deities recognized that his strength and vision posed a grave threat. They regarded him as an enemy more formidable than any threat in the entire galaxy. They even bestowed upon him his harsh title, the Anathema, meaning a dangerous foe that could not be tolerated. This shift in perception marked the beginning of a long struggle, with the Chaos Gods viewing him not as an ally, as an obstacle to their plans. It was only after a long period of chaos and decline, during what is called the Age of Strife, that the Emperor finally stepped out of obscurity. He re-emerged as a leader committed to uniting humanity under one banner. Starting in the late 29th millennium, he launched the Unification Wars on Earth, a brutal military campaign designed to quash the fractured factions and bring all of mankind under his control. These wars were fierce and costly, sparking widespread conflict. Still, his perseverance paid off. By 712 M30, he had established his rule over Old Earth, creating a new government that would eventually become the foundation of the Imperium. Throughout this conquest, the Emperor carried a heavy burden. He accepted the loss of many innocent lives, understanding that their deaths were a tragic but necessary part of his mission. His goal was to forge a united humanity, one capable of resisting and surviving unpredictable threats of the warp and the chaos it could breed. He did not take this task lightly. His remorse was deep, yet he knew that only through such sacrifices could mankind find a future of safety and strength. Every step, every loss, was aimed at creating a better world, even if it meant making very hard choices along the way. With the help of the ancient Mechanicum government on Mars, the Emperor gained crucial support for his plans to unify mankind. The Mechanicum was a powerful and secretive society of tech priests, masters of machines, ancient engineers, and scientists who upheld advanced knowledge of technology and mechanics. They had long guarded their secrets, but during the tense negotiations of the Treaty of Mars in 739 M30, they joined forces with the Emperor and the people of Terra. This treaty marked a significant turning point, as it laid the foundation for what would become the Imperium of Man. This alliance was not just political but also technological. It granted the Emperor access to long-lost knowledge buried within the Mechanicum archives. This knowledge was instrumental in creating the first Space Marines, the legendary super soldiers who would become the backbone of humanity's military might. It also led to the development of massive fleets of interstellar ships, vast void ships capable of crossing the emptiness of galaxy space. These ships would carry the Emperor's armies on the most ambitious campaign ever seen, one that aimed to stretch across the stars. The primary goal of this massive effort was the Great Crusade. Its aim was to bring all of the human-colonized planets of the galaxy under one rule, a new imperial domain. These planets, many of which had been settled during the age of technology before the fall of humanity, were scattered across countless systems. The Crusade sought to unify these worlds, establishing a tight network of human civilizations. At the same time, the campaign intended to eliminate all intelligent alien races that stood in humanity's way. The goal was total domination, either by conquest, destruction, or exile of many alien species, with the intelligence to pose a threat. The galaxy was to become a single vast realm, the Imperial Domain, a place where humanity's borders stretched from one star system to another. The Empire's expansion was seen as humanity's ultimate destiny, a divine right to rule the stars and claim the galaxy as its own. To achieve this, the Emperor negotiated with the Dark Powers during the Unification Wars, making deals with the Chaos Gods on a distant world called Moloch. These dealings provided him with forbidden knowledge, which he used in secret to push forward his plans. With the help of scientists from his biotechnical division, he created the 20 superhuman beings known as the Primarchs. These Primarchs were crafted using a combination of ancient technology, genetic mastery, and the Emperor's own DNA, serving as the original template for the Space Marine gene seed. Their creation was a massive undertaking, involving sophisticated genetic engineering and forbidden rituals. The Primarchs were designed to be exceptionally intelligent, physically perfect, and extraordinarily powerful. The Emperor intended for each Primarch to serve as his primary military leaders, diplomats with unmatched skill, and a key figure on the political and military stage of the Great Crusade. However, the universe had other plans. The Chaos Gods, malevolent entities of chaos and destruction, sought to sabotage the Emperor's designs long before the Primarchs could fully develop. During their gestation in hidden laboratories beneath the future Imperial Palace on Old Earth, these genetically perfect beings were targeted by the forces of chaos. Their creation was interrupted, and the Primarchs were pulled away from the Emperor's plans even before they were born. The Chaos Gods, using their dark will, sucked the Primarchs into the warp, an alternate dimension of chaos and spiritual energy, and scattered them across the galaxy. This interference was no coincidence. It was an attack driven by the Chaos God's desire to weaken the Emperor's grand vision of unity. Even in their embryonic state, the Primarchs had been touched by the powers of chaos, leaving a dark mark upon their origins. Throughout the course of the Great Crusade, efforts were made to find these lost Primarchs and gather them back into the fold. Most of them were successfully located and reunited with their respective Space Marine legions, armies forged from the gene seed of their prime. Out of the original 20 Primarchs, only 2 remain unaccounted for, lost to the vastness of space or hidden deep in Chaos's hold. The Primarchs once found became father figures to the Space Marines, inspiring their armies with tales of heroism, resilience, and divine purpose. Their return allowed the legions, which had been created in their image, to reach their full strength and continue the Emperor's plan of conquest. These legendary figures became symbols of hope and strength, fueling the relentless drive of the Crusade to push deeper into uncharted regions of space. In this critical period of galactic expansion, the primary focus remained on swift and decisive conquest of alien worlds, ensuring the unification of humanity under the banner of the Emperor. Each step taken was measured, calculated, and driven by the hope of cementing humanity's place as the dominant species of the galaxy. The Primarchs, despite being scattered and touched by chaos, served as shining examples of what humanity could achieve, epic warriors created directly by the Emperor, destined to lead armies of millions in the never-ending march to expand the reach of mankind and secure a future amongst the stars. As the Emperor journeyed across the vast expanse of the galaxy, he often encountered civilizations and cultures that looked up to him with a mixture of awe and reverence. Many humans viewed him as a divine figure, a god sent to lead them to a brighter future. Some even tried to worship him as such. Yet the Emperor was clear on his stance. He forbade any form of worship that raised him above ordinary humans. He made it known that he was not a god, but a leader who wished to free humanity from the chains of superstition and ignorance. His goal was to uplift people through knowledge and reason, not through blind faith or idol worship. His message was simple. True strength came from understanding, not from worshipping false gods. However, not everyone agreed with this view. One notable exception was Lorgar, the Primarch of the Word-Bearers Legion. Lorgar was a deeply religious man, driven by fervent beliefs that humanity needed a divine figure to find true purpose. His heart yearned for a spiritual connection, and he convinced himself that worshipping a god was the only way for humanity to be complete. Despite the Emperor's warnings, Lorgar refused to abandon his faith. Over time, he became increasingly desperate to find an outlet for his religious fervor. His desire to see humanity embrace faith grew stronger, even as the Emperor urged him to see beyond such superstition. Lorgar's obsession made him vulnerable to the whisperings of the Chaos Gods. These malevolent spirits preyed on his desperation and spiritual longing. They offered him power and promise, and the validation he craved, things that the Emperor's rational message could not provide. Slowly, Lorgar succumbed to their influence. He turned his legion, the Word-Bearers, into followers of chaos, corrupting them with dark rituals and forbidden knowledge. Lorgar sent Erebus, the first chaplain of his legion, on a secret mission. Erebus was tasked with sowing discord amongst the other Primarchs of their legions, planting seeds of doubt and mistrust. His goal was to spread Chaos's influence even further, convincing the others that the Warp's power was the path to true strength. This time of rising darkness came shortly before the height of the Imperium's power. At its peak in the first decade of the 31st millennium, the Imperium seemed unstoppable. The Emperor's armies controlled vast sections of space, and he aimed to unify all of humanity under a single strong banner. But beneath the surface of order lay the growing threat of chaos and treachery. The seeds of betrayal had already been sown, even without everyone realizing it. The greatest betrayal came from his own son. Primarch Horus of the Lunar Wolves Legion, later renamed the Sons of Horus. Horus was considered the Emperor's most trusted and capable son, a model warrior and leader. Yet pride, ambition, and personal need clouded his judgment. Under the influence of chaos, Horus turned against his father. His betrayal was not sudden, but grew out of a mix of arrogance and the influence of the dark powers that promised him greater power and eternal life. Horus's fall shattered the unity of the Imperium, sparking one of the bloodiest civil wars in history, the Horus Heresy. This conflict tore the galaxy apart. Half of the Space Marine legions, along with countless regiments of the Imperial Army, rallied to Horus's cause. They fought fiercely against those loyal to the Emperor, plunging the galaxy into chaos. The war was brutal and destructive, claiming billions of lives and destroying worlds. The very fabric of the Imperium was threatened by collapse. Horus Heresy became a dark chapter in history, marked by betrayal and loss. The climax of the heresy unfolded on Terra itself, the heart of the Imperium. There the Emperor engaged Horus in a final decisive battle. The fighting was fierce and devastating. Although the Emperor managed to kill Horus, victory came at a steep price. The Emperor was gravely wounded, losing multiple limbs and suffering catastrophic systemic damage. His wounds were so severe that he could not be saved by normal means. To keep him alive, he was placed on the Golden Throne, a life support device that kept his battered body alive, but rendered him unable to move or speak. The Emperor's body now remains in a state of stasis, neither truly dead nor fully alive. He is trapped within his own body, caught in a limbo controlled by the Golden Throne. His mind, however, remains active. It extends into the Immaterium, the realm of chaos and spirits beyond normal perception. From this vantage point, the Emperor continues to watch over humanity. His thoughts drift through the warp, seeking to guide and protect his people from unseen threats. Though physically incapacitated, his consciousness persists, constantly working to steer humanity away from chaos and destruction. This ongoing effort is vital, though it takes place in a realm beyond the comprehension of most. His presence is a silent watchfulness, a beacon of hope amidst chaos, forever striving for a future where humanity can flourish free from the dark influence of chaos and superstition.